I would have to say the irony in the tale of Pan is one of my favorite tales. Pan, who was Lamech, the son of Errol and grandson of Cain, tells of how he became changed into the half-man, half-goat god. The tale goes like this. In a time before the great flood there was a boy who was called Lamech. He was the son of Errol and the grandson of Cain. He was defiant and headstrong and prone to mischief and even said to be a habitual liar, truly a red-headed stepchild. One day while playing in the woods near his house he found a wandering traveler who was playing on a most spectacular wooden carved instrument made of water reeds. The traveler stopped to rest upon a stump and placed the wooden reed-crafted object into his pack and then pulled a strange piece of wood with strings along the side of it. The stranger plucked at the strings and it made a beautiful sound, but the boy's wonder was still set upon the object in his sack. While he thought the man was not looking, he reached to snatch the object and was about to get away when the man suddenly spun around using the wooden stringed object to trip his feet and he fell to the ground. Quickly hiding the stolen object, he demanded to know why he had done that. The man replied that he may have been weary from his long travels but he wasn't deaf. The boy replied, seeming offended, and said he only was curious at the string object he was playing. The man replied that the object was called a lute and that it was magical. He stated he was known as Naga Vasan and that he was a sorcerer from a distant land. He also said that though the lute may have been one of his greatest works of art that he was to deliver to the king of that region as a gift, it was nothing compared to the other object that he stole that was hidden under his tunic. It was called a piccolo and he had made that to himself and demanded the boy give it back. The boy lied and said he found it upon the trail and there was no way to truly say whose it was but that it was his now and he wasn't giving it up. Vasan was furious and told him he was the most wretched vile boy he ever had the displeasure of meeting. Since he wanted to be such a beast of a little brat, then a beast he shall be, and cursed the boy into the half-goat half-human form of legend. Then he told the boy that he shall have to live in the forests with the other beasts, for no one would see him as the boy he was once but only the monster he had become. Out of solace for his burden he was to carry, he allowed the boy to keep the object he so desired, considering his grief the price paid in full for it. That story made me laugh when I first heard it. That's what Dennis the Menaces get when screwing with a wizard. The next tale I wish to share has to do with the realm of perdition that lies beyond the shores of Sheol. Sheol is a purgatorian realm prepared for the souls of the dead and are ushered there after they die to begin an endless cycle of birth, death and rebirth until Judgment Day. However, there is a place of punishment for those who live life without care for those around them and shun the will and presence of the Lord. Though this region is not eternal, there are places within it that can be if one is truly that wicked. It is very much real and it has a specific purpose for a select era of mankind who become so wicked in their ways that an entire alternate pocket universe was created to hold and house millions of souls so far from salvation and redemption that a perpetual negative aura signature was added to deny them passage into any other lives until they have been dealt with. It goes even beyond the wickedness of the Zoroastrians, who were founded and had their roots based on those who dwelled upon the earth before the flood. I'm not referring to a city or an entire culture of these wicked people, but an entire global population of billions of people that have fallen to these wicked ways. Some will find salvation and redemption, but in the end millions of souls will not, even after multiple warnings and chances of redemption, find a path back to faith in God, let alone anything higher than themselves. I speak of, unfortunately, this era. Look around you. Millions of people walk this earth denying God's existence and placing their intangible statistics as proof before Him. If you truly are a believer in God, not out of fear but out of true faith, then you will know that God does not reveal Himself to the masses but to the individual because of reasons that usually have to do with the fact of knowing some of the things many ask to know could and usually do end up endangering not just them but everyone and everything around them. An example is the tree of life. Many wonder and seek to find out what exactly it is and its function, but if everyone knew that, much like every true prophet was a vessel through which God works, and just as Jesus was the Son yet He was the vessel of God upon the earth, So too was the tree of life the vessel of God as well, from which he created all life upon this world through. The very fruits of that tree contained the raw essence of God and his immense power. It is why he warned Adam not to eat of it. For when he did, the very power and knowledge of God meshed and collided with Adam's life force, not only destroying him, but it spread and corrupted the very fabric of his creation, which spread to heaven and corrupted all of creation and even God himself. It imbued the perfected Creator with emotion and free will and the understanding of evil itself. That knowledge was meant for Adam, not God, to experience, and that corruption led to the flood of Noah's tale and all other sins that followed after. Now, as I said, this knowledge, this truth, if understood and became a part of mainstream canonized belief, would have adverse and irreversible consequences that could jeopardize all of creation. Yet the people of this era not only demand to know the truth to their questions such as this, but they put the very faith they choose to believe in upon whether or not God shows them the truth of those questions. Even further into sin, they dove into scientific discoveries and observations of a universe they barely understand, and place that misconceived accumulation of what they call logic as proof against his very existence, and then not only promote this belief to the world, but they even persecute against those who believe and have faith in any sort of religion that is not based on their scientific knowledge. This is but a small portion of why the hell you question of whether it exists was created for.